Hi everyone, welcome back to another program on the English Campus TV. And today we're going to talk about the title, Reading is Fun. I'm not sure whether all of you love reading or not, but as a kid, when I was young, I was very into reading and I still am. So I've read a lot of different types of books and I definitely enjoyed my reading. And I've learned a lot of interesting things from them. So here I would like to see whether you have read these books. So today I want to introduce 10 books that I think you should read. So you can take a look at that. Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So The Lightning Thief, about a boy who is a demigod who explores the magical world of the Olympian. And then The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones, definitely involve a lot of magic. Hunger Games, I don't think I need to explain that. There is a movie made based on the book, so I think you should have heard of it. And this one is a very famous book, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. From the look of it, you can see a lot of magical creatures. Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So if you have read chapter 6 in your textbook, then you should know what this story is about. And later on in our English lessons, we are going to look at this story in details and describe different characters. So Treasure Island, a classic story about treasure. And J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I don't think I need to explain that. It's a big hit. I saw a lot of you reading it. So maybe you can share some thoughts with me later on. And Geronimo Stilton, it's a very popular series in our school library. I saw a lot of you reading it. And then Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is a very classic story, and there are a lot of movies made based on the story. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, it's also a popular series in our library. So if you are interested in reading these books, you can go to the library or you can ask your parents to get some copies for you. And if you have read them, feel free to share your thoughts on the stories with me. So you can see that nowadays, we're not just reading like printed books. So some people prefer to read on electronic devices as well. So on the right-hand side, you can see a device called Kindle. It's an electronic reading device. You can download books, you can purchase books online, and then you can take it out and read anytime you want. But personally, I still prefer reading printed books. What about you? Yes, share with me your thoughts. And when you go to the library, you'll be able to see books of different genres, different types. So I'm not sure whether you know all the types, but today we're going to go through a few types in today's program. So the first one, fantasies. So these two are the examples of fantasies. So fantasies usually have imaginary settings. They don't take place in the real world, and they often involve magic. Yes, so both stories here, Harry Potter and Narnia, involve a lot of magic. Fairy tales and legends. So usually these two are passed down through history, and it's about magical characters or historic heroes. So on the left, Aladdin, definitely a magical character. And Mulan on the right, a historic hero. Science fictions. I think a lot of you know a lot of science fictions. So Frankenstein and Star Wars are some examples. So usually they set in the future or on other planets, and they might involve a lot of scientific theory and time travel. Mysteries. So mysteries usually involve cases that need to be solved or events that do not seem to make sense. So Sherlock Holmes, I'm sure you have heard of this famous detective, and the stories in the series are very interesting and mysterious. Fables. So fables are stories that teach us lessons. Usually we can learn from what happened in the stories. and we often have animal characters that can talk. So for example, tortoise and the hare, so they can talk to each other in the story. So now we have introduced some different types of common books that you might read. So now let's look at the characters. So in stories, there are usually different types of characters. Some of them are good and some of them are bad. So these two characters are from the Chronicles of Narnia. So you can see on the left, it's good. On the right, the character is more evil. So in reading a story, you might be able to identify the main characters. So usually we call the main characters that tell the storyline the protagonist. So some people might think that, oh, protagonist must be always good. But that's not true. So if the main character of the story is a bad character, then that character will be the protagonist. And the antagonist, on the other hand, is the opposer or the combatant working against the protagonist or leading character's goal. And usually they are the ones who create the main conflict. So now you can take a look at the following stories and find out who are the protagonists and the antagonists. Please let me know in the English lesson later on. So Peter Pan, who is the protagonist? Who is the antagonist? Little Red Riding Hood, who is the protagonist? Who is the antagonist? And Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, is Harry the protagonist or is Voldemort the protagonist? So apart from that, when we're reading books, we can often see a lot of adjectives describing different book characters. So here I have Hermione and Harry Potter, and I have some adjectives. So how would you describe Hermione? I would say she is a bookish girl and an intelligent one, right? Do you agree? And for Harry, I would say that he is a brave boy and he is also a loyal friend. So we can use different adjectives to describe book characters. So here are a list of adjectives that we can use to describe book characters. So do not use the very simple ones. So today I'm introducing seven more adjectives: cunning, thoughtful, considerate, energetic, sociable, placid, charming. So when you hear these adjectives, which book character come into your mind? Please let me know. So next time when you're reading, you can actually look at the characters and find out how you could describe them with these adjectives. So please write these down in your English math book. So today's program is coming to an end, but before it ends, I would like to share with you a quote about reading. So it says, reading is a passport to countless adventures. So if you are someone who loves reading, then you will understand this. Every time when you open a book, you are starting a new adventure. So later on in chapter 6, we're going to read the book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So please watch the flipped classroom video in your ebook. Okay, so go online, go to your ebook, and then find out more about the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And then we are going to look at the questions together and find out how we can describe the character in this book. So this is the end of today's program, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.